All right, here we go. Pictures up.
Right, later, keep, and roll down. Roll the way. Round speed. And camera mark.
And action. People have been waiting for me for years to play the lead in a martial art film. I had turned down a number in the past because I felt like I owed the martial arts a lot more than what I'd seen out there. I wanted to fuse all the worlds I'd been a part of, the world of acting, the world of martial arts, the world of drama, and some comedy as well. So I felt that Blood and Bone would be the type of vehicle to do that with.
Michael Jai White came to me with a script called Blood and Bone. That was about 2 or 3 years ago. Both me and Mike were, martial arts fanatics. We grew up watching martial arts movies ever since we were a kid, and we always wanted to work on a project together.
For one of the rare movies where everyone sort of across the board has some connection to fighting. And so there's, I think there's a kind of authenticity in Blood and Bone that you wouldn't necessarily find in another sort of Hollywood film.
I've navigated in those worlds for so long. I fight against and train with a lot of the elite fighters in the country and outside of the country as well. I read the first scene and I put it down, slid back from the table, and I said, whoever wrote this has been a martial artist for at least 20 years. And I was right.
Well, I taught karate for 16 years and I was involved in martial arts for 30 years. So yeah, I knew the field really well.
The folks who trained in martial arts 20 years ago, they trained when it wasn't a business. There was an ethic and a tradition that has been veered away from in the recent years.
We really wanted to make it much more real than what we've been seeing in a lot of martial arts movies of late. The idea of this was to bring it down to a nitty-gritty street situation. You'd look at it and you'd say, yeah, a guy could really do that if he really knew how to fight the way Michael can.
It's great to do a fight movie, which is what this is, but at the same time, it's nice to have a very strong story and characters that we thought that actors would be interested in playing. And we're very, very pleased with the result.
I always wanted to do a character who was sort of similar to the heroes out of the 60s and 70s, the strong, silent Clint Eastwood, Charles Bronson type of character. But I wanted to do him as a black character. We've seen so many other characters who are like that, but who are, out of the West or something. I wanted to move that idea into the modern times and sort of a modern Western.
I play Bone. Bone is a mysterious character in the tradition of Pale Rider and those great Clint Eastwood type of movies of the past. You find more about the character as he moves along. You don't know necessarily if he's a bad guy or a good guy.
You think in the beginning he's sort of a bad guy, and then you realize as time goes by that he's got a whole other mission going on that's a secret only to him until it's revealed, and then you find out, oh, wow, there's a lot more to this character than we thought.
Tell me something. This is the woman that Danny cried over and begged me to look after as he was dying.
Michael's pulling it off perfectly. I've watched him work it, and I've watched the scenes, and I think the way he's playing the character is as close to the way I pictured it in my head as he can do.
I'm not sure I approve of the company you keep, Mr. Bone.
Me neither.
I play the character of Pinball, and Pinball is kind of like the mouthpiece of this whole underground fighting world.
Ladies and gentlemen, niggas and bitches, next up we got the man from the Lone Star State, the Raging Redneck. This motherfucker right here is so raw, he eats steaks directly off live bulls' asses.
Got a lot of magazines, a lot of hip-hop underground magazines, and looked at like these young kind of hustler pimp dudes and try to start putting the picture together. Beyond that, I mean, there's a lot of me in the character. The hustler in me, the little entrepreneur businessman in me, just kind of bringing that out.
I play James, and the character is, lots of people would like to call him evil. I would call him misunderstood. Here is a man who has dreams and aspirations, and he only understands one way of how to get things, and that's how to take them through force. This character is one of the cruelest men I've ever had to play. He's a complete sociopath, completely amoral, and I wanted to try and experiment playing a character like that.
You think I'm that one-sided? I'm that one-sided, oh, Monique. I am hurt. I am hurt.
I think bad guys are a lot of fun. You know, as long as each character's layered, you know, and not one-dimensional, I think that's what we're going after.
Get the motherfucking dogs away from me, man.
Stop. What I tell you about cursing? Remember, profanity is a brutal vice. He that uses it is no gentleman.
She talked to the trainer because one of the things that he told me before, he said that your performance, you might have to pull that down because it might get the dogs riled up.
If you want to see an extraordinary martial arts encounter in your backyard, then you come to Frank McVeigh, he's called. And that's who I play. He has the best fighters, he has all the access, and he runs it through a sort of rather mysterious and a very rich consortium. Martial arts is limiting. It suggests that the story and the characters are just there to set up the fights. I did a 4-page scene yesterday with Eamonn where not a punch was thrown. All the energy, the action and the drama was in the dialogue.
You're asking me to vouch for you. Well, the funny thing about vouching for someone, James, is that when that someone shows himself to be less than what was promised, every decision you take from that point on is second-guessed. And that, in my line of work, is suicide.
Sometimes when you see a fight movie, people just become these droned fighters and they lose their personality and they're just these grunting animals. And I wanted in this one to fight within someone's personality. You know, that's what makes the fights interesting.
This time more than ever, the public is exposed to mixed martial arts. You know, the raw brutality of it. They know what real fighting looks like. So, you know, we can't get away with that wire work.
This is all real fighting. I mean, you're going to be astounded by some of these fights. I mean, they're really amazing. And it's not, you know, you see some guy leaping up in the air, they do these absolutely, totally, and utterly impossible things to do. And they're pulled by wires and it's all special effects. This is real.
Michael Jai's a black belt in 7 different martial arts.
Like I told you, the man is the real deal.
It's been fun to work with some of the great mixed martial artists, Bob Sapp, sort of notorious underground fighter, you know, Kimbo Slice. It's been really fun to watch the choreography of the fighting, because we really are trying to do something unique.
It's kind of like a jam session. We got probably 6 guys who could choreograph a film by themselves. And together, they kind of choreographed according to the vision I have for the film.
All the hits are right on. Well, that was cool, actually.
It's as close as you can actually get to what a street fight might look like with 2 skilled combatants, yet, you know, done in a sort of heightened film manner. So it's really great action throughout.
This is down and dirty, raw and rugged martial arts, gritty.
To choreograph some guy fighting, I mean, can you imagine if he misses by ½ an inch, it breaks the guy's jaw? Those choreographers are incredible. They're all mixed martial artists and they choreograph these things like Twilight Top. I mean, you didn't really realize what these guys go through. 1 inch, and the other guy's a dead man.
Sign your own death certificate, player. He was doing the part where Mike took the shank and stabbed me with it. And before that, he threw a quick punch. And bam, landed me right in the dome piece. Being that I'm an MMA fighter myself, that was a real punch. I play it for real, you know.
It's like, what's your fastest hand?
I would say part of my left hook.
Just go like this, right? Now I'm gonna throw three jabs.
Right.
Don't let me hit him. Don't let me hit your hand.
So what you want me to do?
Just move it out the way.
All right.
So now notice the speed of the first 2, right? Ready?
Yeah.
That's 1, 2. Okay, now here's the 3rd one. Don't let me hit it. Ready?
Yeah.
How the hell? Come on, man.
Mike had 1 week of prep. We had 3 weeks. I had 2 weeks to choreograph and then 1 week to prep Mike.
Okay, I need longer. I've been training with a Chinese straight sword and a katana and a samurai sword, and they're teaching me all the blows for the fight scene that I have at the end.
I'm just waiting. You know, I'll let him handle the first few, and then I come in, and then I handle the real business. There was one day I had to get thrown around by Big Bob Sapp, and that was kind of crazy. Luckily, I had a stunt man to take a lot of the brutal hits, but beyond that, I get to watch mostly and kind of enjoy the whole stunt process.
In most movies where you see choreographed fights, the actors are not really fighters, so you have to like shoot it in a way where you're kind of breaking up the fights in very kind of minute steps, and there's never a kind of fluidity to it that I think we're achieving in this film because Michael is so gifted physically.
What's great fun is to see Ben working as a director and with the sense of humor that he has, keeping things very light on the set.
Like that.
It's like that.
Yeah.
It's like that. It's how we do it.
Working with Ben, he's just real cool, and when we're working through the scenes, you know, just very open to like which way he wants to go, which way I want to go, and we get to play with a lot. I'm just in a really relaxed environment to really explore and have fun.
Just to be kind of in there and being creative and letting it kind of flow and come out, and not being so worried that, oh God, it's got to be absolutely right. We just can't go again. That eases the pressure somewhat, so it's fantastic.
The DP, Roy Wagner, who has you know, an incredible amount of experience and has educated us in many ways on the making of the film from a cinematography standpoint.
Normally I don't operate the camera. I haven't operated the camera for many, many years. And I felt on this one that the camera movement was so much a part of the characters in the story that I needed to be able to be responsive. And so I decided to operate the camera myself.
Fight!
I have a few bruises and I'm a little tired, but it's been well worth it. It was Conrad Hall was very dear friend of mine. He was a director of photography, and he always said, go in with a plan, have lots of ideas and lots of details, and talk with the director from morning to night, but be prepared for the happy accident, because you never know where it's going to come from and from whom. And that happened often in this film.
We had gang warfare about 5 days ago. We're shooting downtown Los Angeles, so it's a little bit dicey. They called their gang to come down and arm up, which means get their pieces, get their tools. It was a little bit scary for a while there. But luckily we have lots of stunt fighters and stuntmen.
Locations have been a nightmare for me for a lot of reasons. Shooting at night is almost impossible. Neighbors have to approve your ability to shoot at night, which is becoming more and more difficult. As far as what's the best locations for the shoot, this location, which is playing for the McVeigh Mansion, which is a nunnery in Hollywood, is a beautiful location. And then we're about to go into what is James's warehouse, which also is a spectacular warehouse that already has a lot of the elements of what we need for that particular scene.
You're seeing the mock-up of Panorama City location. So we have like 40 feet by 32 feet for the fighters to fight in. We have the barrels that'll be on fire all across here, and the escape route of Pinball's green Lincoln will shoot through this and escape.
Tonight we're going to blow the back window out of the car. We've got these special devices that we attach to the back window, and when the time comes, push the button, and blammo, the window goes.
This motherfucker wilding out. Oh, shit!
80 cast members, a lot of locations, and it's a lot of stunts, a lot of fighting, a lot of big stuff. It's a big movie. It's it's hard work for a lot of people, but it's fulfilling.
Making a movie is great. It's stressful. It's mellow. It's energetic. It's laid back. It's exciting. You run the whole gamut of emotional states to make a film. There's nothing like it.
This is something that I'm very proud to have brought forth. This is Blood and Bone. It's been a blast.